to it.
As budget talks continue to break down, the White House says members of Congress are being a bunch of snotty morons, to which Congress said, quote, "Yo mama's so fat, the Sahara was a lake until she dove into it," end quote. Scientists from the scientific think tank Cerebral Miscellanea says that obesity may be linked to eating too much, but further funding will be needed to confirm this hypothesis. Adult film actress Baluna Nutt still maintains her claims of sexual assault against Senator Hawkins because before they shot scenes for her live webcam sex show, she says they had agreed to no ass play, which Senator Hawkins violated. The latest avian flu pandemic continues to spread, called the rubber chicken bug due to causing chickens to lose their feathers and develop a rubbery texture in their bodies. However, when transmitted to humans, symptoms manifest themselves beyond the usual aches and pains and sniffles and coughs. The symptoms include pale skin, redness of lips, cheeks, and noses, with darkness around the eyes, and even discoloring of the hair. In local news, Mayor Biggins said today that the Halloween party at City Hall will go forward despite calls to cancel it out of respect for Mayor Goofins and others who died there at last year's party due to the Halloween riots. But Mayor Biggins says she sees the party as a tribute to those who died.
I see tonight's party as a tribute to those who died.
Mayor Biggins, who of course succeeded Mayor Goofins because he died a week before last year's election, will be in attendance at tonight's City Hall Halloween party. In local weather, tonight we'll have a slight blanket of fog at a chilly 60 degrees. And that's the news for WARP 104 AM. I'm Lester Mann. Now, stay tuned for the Night Watchman with Adam Splitt. And now, it's time for The Night Watchman with Adam Splitt. Yeah, this is The Night Watchman with Adam Splitt. And I'm Adam Splitt. This is the show that seeks the truth that's hidden underneath the underbelly of the unknown. This is central headquarters when you want to discuss the truth behind conspiracy theories, UFOs, the paranormal, and creatures that science either doesn't know about yet or refuses to admit to the existence thereof. Yeah. Well, it's Halloween again, and so every Halloween we do a special Halloween show where we mostly devote the time to the paranormal, ghosts, demons, stuff like that. So the Buck Gordon UFO report and Jane Badall's Crypto Zoo report. Yeah, we won't be having that tonight, so tune in tomorrow night. Well, they'll be back, so Buck and Jane have the night off. So, because this Halloween show, we're devoting it entirely to what happened out here 1 year ago. And local people, you know what I'm talking about. The riots that broke out at City Hall, and also the massacre that took place at one of our competitors, WBLZ, with the Bob Gruhl show, which is a bit infamous now for what happened at that show. And we're going to explore some of the theories that have cropped up. The official story is that they're unrelated to what happened in City Hall, but others believe it's directly linked to what happened at the WBLZ studios, which was a seance that may have released more than a ghost, but rather some sort of demonic presence. And as a result of broadcasting it, may have spread this demonic possession to the citizens of the town. They ended up making them all head over to City Hall and killing our mayor and several other people and overwhelming the cops there. It was a terrible tragedy that happened, but we're going to try to get to the bottom of it, because that's what we do here. We pursue the truth to the bitter end. So, in full disclosure, I'm going to inform you right now that I am not broadcasting from my usual studio at WARP. I'm actually in the very studio that the Bob Gruhl Show taped its last show here at the former studios of WBLZ, who've moved on to other facilities since then. This building has been pretty much abandoned, and it took a lot of legal maneuvers with our lawyers to get permission to do this program for tonight, and a lot of red tape, but lo and behold, we managed to do it just a few days ago, actually, and so here I am on my own, so I'm going to have to be running the boards and the phones here. There's no screener, so I'm going to take a few calls for this show, but for the most part, we're going to discuss this theory about this demonic possession causing the whole massacre and riots, and we're going to discuss that with our old friend, Professor Barclay Holcloth. Once again, will be joining me a little bit later as we explore those theories and delve into it. Now, this WBLZ studio building, as the Bob Gruhl Show pointed out, they did that seance because it turns out that the property used to be owned by a man named Chad Brewster, who ended up losing his mind, apparently, and killing his whole family with an axe, I believe. And then later on, when he was in prison, he was asked why he did it. He said the voices from the walls made him do it, and then he committed suicide there in his cell. So there was already a history of hauntings there at the site, and some of the people at the building said they did see, or rather hear, strange things, and so they decided to do a seance on Halloween last year. Of course, they treated it as a joke, but I guess maybe they shouldn't. The police, of course, hold Madame Mysteria, the psychic who performed that seance, as the woman who committed the murders at that radio station, which seems a little odd since Madame Mysteria was barely 5'2", and she managed to kill several very tall and strong men and several other staff members in that building. And, well, come on, folks. So we'll get to that, some of your calls, and, of course, to Professor Holcloth and the rest of this story. We'll investigate it and look into it, and we'll be playing clips from the Bob Gruhl Show, most of which hasn't been heard since 2015, October. So stay tuned for that. We'll be back after this.
You're listening to The Night Watchman here on WARP 104 AM.
Ha ha, yes, Mr. Nailsin riffs Frankenstein. And at $1.75, it's a steal. You see, Dr. Victor Frankenstein, a closeted homosexual working in a castle on a remote Swiss island, attempts to create a perfect man, but his resultant creation turns out to be a murderous, flatulent beast who must be destroyed. So he sends his girlfriend and young son to trap the monster. Also in this package deal is Flash Gordon, Space Soldiers Conquer the Universe, Chapter 3. Yes, Flash and his crew get caught in an avalanche while Dr. Zarkov is in an aerial dogfight with Ming's thugs. After that, Zarkov battles his crew over the break room microwave. This film contains music by Kevin MacLeod. Warning! Due to an extreme lack of talent, bathroom humor is deployed throughout the film. Say, friends, why don't you help out the Nailsin Show by visiting my mini stores? Yes, you know, if you've been a regular listener, you've heard that I have a store at Sellfy.com. Sellfy.com/Nailsin. Yes, there you can find all my little videos. Yes, videos of old movies, old sci-fi and old horror movies, things like that, with my delightful commentary and liberal use of cartoon sound effects. Yes, lots of fun. But if that's not enough for you, you can head over to rifftracks.com/iRiffs/Nailsin-Theater. That's iRiffs with an I, R-I-F-F-S. Nailsin, Nailsin, dash theater, spelled the old English way, Theatre. Yes, it's just that simple. Rifftrash.com /iRiff /Nailsin theater. There you'll find more of the same films I've done, but also some extra ones, including Batman and Robin. Yes, an old 40s serial of these dynamic duo guys. And once again, my sound effects and wonderful commentary. Yes. Also, there's Society6.com /Mr Nailsin, all one word, where you can get my t-shirts of a different variety of designs, and art prints, mugs, pillows, even clocks, yes, and much more. So head over to Society6.com /Mr Nailsin for those goodies. And of course, don't forget Sellfy.com /Nailsin. That's Sellfy.com /Nailsin. Yes, it's just that simple, and you can help out your old pal, Mr Nailsin. Yes, you can. Next time on My Brother's Keeper.
Yeah, people say I'm stupid and stuff, but come on, man. You're not gonna pull the wool over my eyes on that one. You can't tell me we ever went to the moon. I mean, look at that thing. I mean, I know it's bigger than the other dots in the sky, but you can't fit a spaceship on that thing. It's too small. I gotta go.
I just came back from my lawnmower. I was gonna do the yard job you were supposed to do, but you didn't. You only did it half-assed. Shut up and listen. I sat on it, and that seat was soaking wet. Now I got a wet ass.
Shut
up. Did you leave my lawnmower outside? Did you leave my lawnmower outside?
Yes, I did.
Next time on My Brother's Keeper on TLC. And now, back to The Night Watchman with Adam Split, here on WARP 104 AM. And we're back. You're listening to Adam Split on The Night Watchman for WARP, broadcasting to you from the old WBLZ studios, which sadly had to come to a close due to the massacre that took place there 1 year ago tonight, which we will be discussing for the entirety of tonight's program. My guest will be Professor Barclay Holcloth. As regular listeners know, he's been a frequent guest here because he's a professor in parapsychology and a good guest to have on as we explore these issues on this show. And this one, of course, hauntings and possible demon possession. Well, that's right up Professor Holcloth's alley. But he's not here at the moment. We're expecting him any time now. But in the meantime, we're going to take your calls. So let's see who we got here. All right. Hello, you're on The Night Watchman with Adam Split.
You need to get in on this creepy clown stuff, because it's getting really weird out there. And
Well, now, normally I would, but this is a special Halloween program devoted only to the massacre that took place at WBLZ Studios and the Halloween riots of last year. So we got to stick to that.
yeah, but I mean, there's a couple of them right down the street from me. Hell, I could see them right now.
Well, tell you what there, take your phone and try to get some pictures of these creepy clowns and send your photos into my website, adamsplit.com, or at the site I have at WARP. And you'll find a little page there where listeners can submit photos. And I will certainly give it a look at. And on a future broadcast, we'll discuss it because it is quite the phenomenon that's been happening this year. And that's right up our alley here. So I will get to that in a later show, possibly even tomorrow night. So I thank you for your call, sir. So try to stay on topic, folks. Okay, let's see who we got here. Oh, I know this guy. Bubba, how is it at the farm tonight?
Well, it's not too good. I'm sorry about I'm a little off topic too, but maybe it's got some connection with that Satanism.
Well, no, all right. Well, what's going on, Bubba?
Well, it's that chicken flu. It's just bad.
The chicken. Oh, that avian sickness.
The rubber chickens.
Right.
Yeah, my whole chicken farm is just gone now. I mean, All my chickens are bald and rubbery. I mean, it's horrible. It's just bad.
Well, Bubba, that's still a little off topic there. But you know what? Yeah, I tell you what, you call in tomorrow, and because Jane will be here, and I think that'd be a good topic for her Crypto Zoo segment.
Well, yeah, but I'm thinking it might be supernatural. You don't know where this came from. It could be the devil bringing in the end times.
Hey, yeah, that could be, Bubba. But like I said, we can delve into that tomorrow night.
How do you know tomorrow's coming?
Well, Bubba, that's always true, isn't it? I mean, if that happens, I guess our problems are over. So call in tomorrow, Bubba. I really want to talk to you about this. Have a good night. Okay, let's take one more here. Oh, this is another regular, Sally. Hello, Sally. You're on the Night Watchman with Adam Split.
It's my son listened to the Bob Grill show last year, and he ended up being one of the rioters. I don't know if he hurt anybody, but he did hurt himself, and he didn't come home. And I just don't think it's a good idea for you to broadcast your show from that studio.
Oh, Sally, I had no idea that happened to you, and I'm really sorry to hear that. I'm really sorry for your loss. But you know me. You've been listening to this show a long time now, and I'm always going to pursue the truth, Sally. It's just the way I am, and I just got to pursue it to the bitter end, if you will. And I got to know what happened to your boy there, and one way or another, I'm going to find out.
It's just, well, I just hope you're good with Jesus, because he's the only one who can protect you from this evil.
Well, I appreciate that, Sally, and I will keep that in mind as we go forward. And you have a good night, and thank you for your call. Yeah, those calls are always hard to take, Someone loses, and we got to keep that in mind. A lot of people lost friends and loved ones in that, in those riots, and certainly at the massacre here at the studio. So, it just begs the question how many people can just look the other way on this, because the explanations for it just don't add up. I just don't think they do. So you got to look at all the possible avenues here, and that's what I'm doing here. I mean, yeah, it's Halloween, and it's the show, and it's taking its time to get here, but no one's going to tell me that I'm not pursuing a noble cause here and tell me I'm just exploiting it for a Halloween show. There's truth to that, I suppose, but for me, I want to know. I want to know what happened here, and if you're listening, so do you. Oh, well, looks like I got another call here, and yes, it is. This is Professor Barclay Holcloth. Gee, I hope there's no trouble. I'll take him on there. Barclay, when are you gonna get here, buddy?
Adam, my apologies, but I believe I won't be able to make the show tonight.
What? Now, come on, Barclay, this is really late notice now. Come on, now, what's the problem?
It's,
Look, if you need a car, I can have one sent to you.
No. I played the entire show, Adam.
You mean the Bob Grill show?
Yes. I suggest you don't play it. Certainly not the seance part. Don't play that, Adam.
Barclay, we've already been over this. I mean, that's the whole point of the show tonight.
Listen to me. Do not play that tape. That's it. Just take my advice, and if you need to, just cancel the show, play a rerun, whatever you gotta do, but, you need to leave that studio, too. I don't think you should be there.
Oh, no. Barclay, you know me. I mean, I'm not... What's going on, Barclay?
You don't want to know. You're better off not knowing. It's just,
The whole point of Night Watchman is to know. So, Barclay, come on. Just spill the beans here.
That's all I'm gonna say. I really have to go. I just...
Damn it, Barclay, in all the years I've known you, you're gonna wuss out on me now? Come on.
Damn it, just listen to me. Just don't play that tape. And all right. Did you did you have any chicken tonight?
What?
Did you at any time tonight or early in the day eat chicken?
No. Remember, after my heart attack, I went vegan.
Oh, right. All right, good, you're safe then, yes. Just, okay, but heed my words and get out of that studio.
Barkley? Folks, have I just been hoaxed? No, I don't think so. Barkley just doesn't even have a sense of humor. He's a very serious man, and would have suspected a little inebriation here, but he doesn't drink or smoke, so I don't think it's that. I've never known him to be this overwhelmed by any of the cases he's looked at, but apparently this one did it for him. So I apologize for that. Looks like we're not going to have a guest tonight. But as the old saying goes, the show must go on, and it will. So I'm going to leave a little time to reorganize here, so we'll take a short break and have more program for you after this.
You're listening to the Night Watchman here on WARP 104 AM. Here's the movie that inspired Night of the Living Dead, The Last Man on Earth. Vincent Price stars as the only uninfected man from a plague that has turned humanity into a race of undead vampires. Well, they don't drink blood. They don't turn into bats. Sunlight bothers them but doesn't kill them, and they have reflections, but they don't like looking at them. But hey, they do come back from the dead, so there's that. Anyway, despite being slow, clumsy, and mostly harmless, Price finds them annoying enough to kill them. After a day of killing, he goes home, gets drunk while watching home movies, and cries himself asleep to jazz records. Also, as a bonus to this deal, you get Chapter 1 of Flash Gordon, Space Soldiers Conquer the Universe. Flash tries to stop mean spaceships from pissing all over the Earth. This film, like many of the films in my store, includes music by Kevin MacLeod. Warning! Due to an extreme lack of talent, bathroom humor is deployed throughout the film. So what are you waiting for? Head over to sellfy.com/Nailsin and start watching films with me. That's Sellfy, sellfy.com/NAILSIN. Yes, Nailsin. It's just that simple.
I like beer. That's why I drink it. Ain't got nothing better to do. Might as well drink beer. Beer.
Great displays of vanity, Night-Night. What's that you're wearing?
Why, it's the Night t-shirt, Bobo.
Well, where'd you get that?
Well, I got it at the Mr Nailsin Store at Zazzle.com. There you can find your Night t-shirts and other products that Mr Nailsin provides.
Huh, look at this one. It shows you staring at the flying pig's butt.
Shut up, Boo-Boo, damn it! Anyway, folks, if you want your Night t-shirt, head over to the Mr Nailsin Store at Zazzle.com and order your Night shirt today.
The strange thrills, the beauty and blood of the most bizarre circus in the world. Circus of Horrors.
We interrupt this program to bring you this special WARP News Bulletin. I'm Lester Mann. It appears there's been a shooting involving police under the Bridgestone Bridge, which was the site of a supposed satanic ritual scene last year during Halloween. We go now to Missy Shine, who is on the scene with Sheriff Deputy Colby.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Sheriff Colby. I'm here with Sheriff Deputy Colby, who is here to describe the scene.
Missy, we had a shooting. Some residents were complaining that there was some creepy clown sightings here and that they were being harassed by creepy clown people. And an officer was dispatched to the scene. He did encounter some individuals who were acting irrationally, and all kinds of erratic behavior, throwing bottles and smashing them, and all kinds of activity like that. And they became violent towards his squad car and towards him, and he did open fire. The assailants were gunned down. Even with several shots, several of them refused to back down. And the assailants, I'm afraid, are deceased.
So they were all dressed up as clowns?
Actually, no, they were in Halloween outfits, but I believe one was a vampire costume and some sort of Batman suit and Star Wars or something like that. I don't know, but they were, looks like, wearing some sort of makeup that could be described as clown makeup.
Oh, well, is this any way connected to last year's satanic ritual?
Official story is there was no satanic ritual, just some kids acting out and doing something stupid, and that's all it was. As for any connection to that, no, unless, of course, due thanks to the rumors and the hype over stories like that, this might have been started out as a kind of copycat incident, but other than that, that's all it is.
All right, until we have other details, back to you, Lester.
Thank you, Missy. And as Missy said, yes, further details, we will bring them to you here. And now, back to Night Watchman with Adam Split. Well, I guess that earlier caller was on to something about the creepy clowns. Didn't see that one coming. So we will be delving into that, I'm sure, for tomorrow's program. Yeah. So, but anyway, back to what we were talking about. Of course, last year's horrible riots and massacre. And what I am surmising here is probably the origin point of all of this. Now, some people have looked at the apparent satanic ritual that was conducted underneath the Brimstone Bridge about a week before Halloween last year. And, of course, the official word from the law enforcement was that it was a little more than nothing, but I did post some photos that people were able to get there, and it looked pretty elaborate altar built there, and some animals that apparently were sacrificed and all this sort of thing. So a little more than just stupid kids, I think, is as the sheriff put it, I believe, was the quote. So, and then, of course, what happened at WBLZ on Halloween. And I'm going to play that here now. This is a clip from the show where they had their seance trying to contact the ghost of Chad Brewster. Now, this is the best quality I could find, as most original copies of the show are, well, all of them actually are said to be gone, that they were destroyed at the scene. But I suspect that's probably not true, but then I've always been mistrustful of authority, you know me. But so here's a clip of the seance that was performed on the Bob Gruhl Show on Halloween 2015.
O ethereal hosts of air, water, fire, and earth, I beseech thee, open doors closed, summon spirits long departed, yonder spirit I call upon you now, be revealed!
Whoa, it just got icy cold in here.
Yeah, it is.
Man, what the hell? Joe, I swear to God, if you farted. No, the trash can just slid across the floor and fell over.
Oh my God! They are here, spirits of the departed. Let me be your vessel to give tongue to your message. Among you I call upon the spirit of Chad Brewster! 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 What happened? I am here.
Okay, who are you?
I was Chad Brewster. Did you kill your wife and kids here? Forgive me.
Screw that, you bastard. Why'd you kill your whole family?
The fallen made me.
How the hell does she do that? Who are the fallen?
The dark spirits who dwell here. Dwell here? You mean like now? As we are here. Oh my God! Her eyes are bleeding!
Ah, hell, the candles blew out. Turn on the lights. Joe, turn the lights on. I'm trying. I can't open the door.
Oh my God, Bob, she's going into convulsions. She's going into convulsions.
All right, you got me. Happy Halloween. Now let's get the lights on.
You open the door and we're down enough!
Hey, open the door. Open it now. What the hell?
Yes,
Now, there's quite a few clues in there. First of all, there's a sound that I don't know if you can quite make it out on this tape here, but something very eerie begins to be in the background there. Now, obviously you could say, well, that's just someone added an effect or what have you, but this was a tape that someone recorded themselves while listening to it back in 2015. Of course, people could suggest that the show itself was adding effects for drama and what have you, but the murder certainly wasn't fake. So I'm not going to buy that just yet. But nevertheless, there's quite a few interesting things there where it seems the ghost of Chad Brewster is summoned, or was it? And it seems some other entities came along and I believe seems to have taken possession of the medium there. The supernatural activities happened. Apparently, objects began to move in the room. And as I said earlier, the atmosphere changed dramatically. Bob Grule himself refers to the temperature dropping. They can't seem to get out of the room. The lights go out, all this sort of thing. And then suddenly they're cut off from the air, and that's the last we hear of the Bob Grule show. But it seems there that one could logically, I think, draw a conclusion that it's possible that this Miss Mysterio woman, I've never gotten her real name since then. We've looked into it, but can't find it. But nevertheless, that she may have unwittingly opened a door to the spirit world, and some malevolent entities came through. Now, another interesting thing to note here is that this apparent demonic entity here claims there are 1,000 more. And now 1,000 is a bit significant here because with the riots, after all was said and done, the accounting of the bodies separating from perpetrators and victims, the apparent rioters numbered nearly 900, so that's pretty close to the number there that this demonic entity is referring to. And besides, it may have been referring to others at other scenes that happened throughout the town that wasn't involved in City Hall, but rather some of the murders at the radio station. Also, the medium is referred to as having blood coming out of her eyes. Well, that's a description given to many of the rioters, as you can hear in this clip from the late Rob Small, who was a reporter for WHATV, who was covering the mayor's Halloween party that night.
These deranged people, their skin appears ashen and they're bleeding from their eyes and mouths. They're chanting something. I don't know what they're...
So with that, I think there's a pretty strong case to be made there that there's a connection between the massacre at the WBLZ and this riot. And keep in mind, if we're supposed to believe that this was just another riot like had happened in many other cities, what was it about? There was no political signage of any sort, no messages sent or anything. Just all of a sudden, people were going crazy and attacking one another. And the idea that I suppose if you're going to draw a connection with this Madame Mysterio woman, well, this was all coordinated with that, I don't think so. Now, another detail that I was working on with Professor Holcloth, he was supposed to discuss this in depth, but unfortunately, of course, he's not here, was that we noticed something strange of an incident here that's another little key to supernatural details here concerning Bob Grule himself. As the coverage unfolded from newsman George Newsom, it was apparent that Bob was murdered by the medium. And again, keep in mind, this is a small woman, and Bob was at least 6'2". And yet she was able to overpower him and apparently rip his throat out, as we've heard from crime reports. But there was an interesting business concerning the demise of George Newsom himself, which happened a little later in that evening. And, let me just play the clip of the last moments of George Newsom.
Open the door, George. Stay back! I swear to God, you come in here and I'll kill you! Only playing with you, George. I don't need you to open the door. I'm inside already.
Okay, looks like I'm missing the clip I actually wanted. George actually responds to whoever that is beating on his door as being Bob, which, of course, couldn't be possible because Bob was already dead. He was identified as dead by police on the scene in the studio at the hands of the medium. But nevertheless, that's who George seemed to think it was. And I kind of wondered why. And so did the professor. And so we got our sound guy to look into it and see if he could strip away a lot of the atmospheric sounds in that clip. And this is what we came up with.
Open the door, George.
Now that is indeed the voice of Bob Gruel. So somehow, some way, and you have to consider the supernatural here, something possessed his dead body at this point, walked it down the hall and made it beat on the locked door of George Newsom's newsroom and speak to him. So another little bit of evidence here for the paranormal, if you are so inclined. And well, you know me, I am, of course. So that's
We interrupt this program to bring you this special bulletin from WARP News. Riots have once again broke out in the middle of City Square. Witnesses are reporting that people in clown makeup are attacking pedestrians and trick-or-treaters all across the city streets tonight as we speak. Reports seem to indicate that the numbers of these creepy clown attackers are staggering as police are admitting that they are becoming overwhelmed. We go now to City Hall where our Molly Shine is reporting. Molly?
Lester, yes, City Hall is currently in lockdown. Of course, the Halloween party's canceled, but everyone who's here is staying because it's not safe to go out. The rioters are right outside the door. It's just 2015 all over again. I understand the mayor has actually called to the governor to send the National Guard because, as you said, the police are overwhelmed, and they are. These people are they just don't stop.
Molly, these terrorists, and these rioters I'm calling terrorists, this is obviously what this is. I think this must be some sort of organized event, isn't it? I mean, to take advantage of this supposed clown, creepy clown business, any indication of that it's true?
No, Lester, they're not clowns. I mean, they're in costume, some of them, but not necessarily clown ones. I mean, what we believe is happening here is these people are showing, the earlier story we reported on here on WARP, that the rubber chicken bug is causing people to have pale skin and red lips and all that. Well, that's what it is. That's what they look like. It's not makeup. These people, this must be some sort of reaction to the flu.
Well, that is interesting there, Molly. Of course, we at WRPV cannot confirm that. But you're definitely seeing that it is not makeup of any sort.
No, it doesn't look like that at all. And, I mean, oh boy, they broke through the barricades. They're getting closer. The police are opening fire. Oh, jeez. Oh, my God. They're still coming. Good. I'm gonna need a minute here, Lester.
Stay safe, Molly. We'll get back to you as soon as we can. Ladies and gentlemen, it appears that, yes, this has some connection to the rubber chicken bug, as people do appear to have a clown-like visage upon them, as their skin does turn very pale to almost be white, and with redness of the lips, cheeks, and nose, and, of course, the darkness around the eyes would look like eye makeup. So
apparently that's what's going on here. It could be a connection to that this is some sort of sickness, but for sick people, they sure do seem to be strong enough to take on the police.
Oh man, they're here.
What do you mean? Who's here?
The clown people. They're right outside.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, it appears our WARP studios are under attack from these rioters. Are these infected people? What are they talking about? What tape? What are they?
They're inside.
We're surrounded. We need the police here now. Liz, ladies and gentlemen, this is Adam Split from the Night Watchman Show. I've been cut off from WARP. I don't know what happened there. It sounded really bad. If anyone has any information, please call in. Someone is on the phone here. Hello, this is Adam Split of the Night Watchman Show.
This is John. I was on the Bob Gruhl show, until everybody died.
Is this John Kensel?
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. You at one point you were considered a suspect in the BLZ murders, but you had a rock solid alibi.
Yeah, I was being attacked by ghosts in my bathroom. But, I don't know, they gave up on me. But no one would believe me that my ghost had possessed my collection of puppets that suddenly turned on me. Well, that ended that phase. Yeah, I don't collect those no more. Yeah, I was just surfing the net and looking for shows, and of course, out of curiosity, I tuned in to see what was going on at my own home. And then I heard about what you're doing here, Adam. You got to stop that.
Well, you're not the first tonight to warn me about this, but that's not who I am. I don't give up, and I pursue the truth to the bitter end.
Well, it's gonna be a pretty bitter end if you don't stop. Whatever you do, don't play that Madam Mystery seance thing, because that's what started the whole thing.
Well, John, I've already played the seance clip.
Not on the air.
Yes, on the air.
Oh man, well, I guess I'm real late with the warning. Yeah, just like Bob always said, I'd be late for my own funeral.
Now listen, John, this isn't a time for jokes. There's people dying out there tonight.
Yeah, I can't help it. Ever since I got sick with this flu, every little thing makes it funny.
John,
I gotta get back to my KFC.
What in the world was? Wait, I'm hearing something. I think it's the clowns. They're all around the building. It's like a swarm of them. Well, like I said, to the bitter end. I'm gonna do the EVP. Is there anybody here with me right now? Alright, I'm gonna have to play this back. I don't know how much time I've got here. Is there anybody here with me right now? It's in reverse. I have to isolate it and reverse the clip here.
Open the door, and we are 1,000 more.
Alright, I opened the door. Clown thing, I opened the door to me. just did this thing all over again. I'm sorry. I didn't know that. I'm sorry.
Not as sorry as you're going to be.
You have been listening to the Mr. Nailsin Show presents Night of 1,000 Terrors. This was a dramatization. None of it was real. And if you thought it was, well, we proved one thing for sure. You're an idiot. Anyway, happy Halloween. The Mr. Nailsin Show and RadioMisfits.com are in no way responsible for any demonic possessions you may incur as a result of listening to this show, because you can't really prove that there's any such thing as supernatural forces, so sucks to be you.